Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mystery Sports Podcast. Not done a video in a while, but yeah, we're back onto it now today. And so we're going to be talking about quite a few things today. We've got obviously United versus Sunderland predictions and what I think will happen there. Then we've also got the England squad, quite of a shock there, the WSL, the Formula One, and a little bit on um, the United women's game as well, because it's probably the biggest game of the season at the moment for the two competitors challenging for that title there. But yeah, we'll get onto it. We'll get straight into the Premier League predictions. So tonight we've got an 8 o'clock kickoff game, Bournemouth versus Fulham. That starts at 8 o'clock, like I just said there, and I do believe that that game will probably be quite an entertaining game. And I think Bournemouth will just edge it and win 3-2. I think it'll be a very entertaining game there. Then we move on to Saturday. So a 12:30 kickoff game this week is Leeds versus Tottenham Hotspur, and I think Leeds on a decent bit of form, and Tottenham a bit struggling at the moment. Obviously, they didn't lose against Wolves only just by Paulinia late wonder strike, but I do think that Leeds definitely could give them a run for their money, and it could definitely be a draw. And I think it probably will be. I can see Spurs nicking it like a 2-1, but then I can also see Leeds getting back into it and having that performances they've been like playing throughout this season and getting like a 1-1. I think it could be a 1-1 there. Then you've got the 3 o'clock kickoff game. So there's only two this weekend. So we've got Arsenal versus West Ham. Arsenal easy win. I think Nuno he'll probably give it a run, but I think it'll be a 2-0 to Arsenal. United versus Sunderland, we'll get into it a bit more, and I think it'll be a 2-1 to United. Then the 5:30 kickoff, probably the standout game of the week, Chelsea versus Liverpool. I think that will be a draw. I think Arne Slot will he won't get back to winning ways, but I think Chelsea will definitely be looking to obviously bounce back after two defeats on the bounce. But I think at the bridge as well, I think Chelsea have that kind of not well, semi-advantage, but then I do think Liverpool will be playing there, and obviously they've lost 2 games on the bounce as well, so both sides on a bit of poor form. But I would suggest that Liverpool will play well, Chelsea will play well, and it'll end in like a 1-1 or a 2-2. Very entertaining game. I think Cole Palmer and I I have a feeling that Wirtz will just do something this game. He'll get off his mark, but I mean, 007 it is in the Premier League. It's not looking good, is it? Then we move on to Sunday. So we've got Villa versus Burnley, and I think Villa will win. Obviously, they made it back-to-back wins in the Europa League with a 2-0 win last night. I would say that it's going to be a 2-0 win to Aston Villa. Then Everton versus Palace. I think that this game's got a lot of like excitement about it. I think could be a Palace could easily go and win it, but then Everton could as well. I think it will be a 2-1 win to Palace. Newcastle versus Forest. Newcastle 3-0. Ange Postecoglou will get sacked if he loses, I reckon. He won't last till Christmas. If he's losing like he did yesterday 3-2 at home against a random team, I think he's gonna go by Christmas. And 3-0 Newcastle, I would suggest. Wolves versus Brighton. I think Brighton will get a job done only just though, probably like a 1-0 win there. And then the 4:30 kickoff, Brentford versus City. And I think you can only see a City win there to 3-1 City. I'm going to go. I mean, obviously, City having a bit of a poor performance in the Europa League, not Europa, Champions League, sorry, 2-2 there. Thought they were meant to win that. I think if they were to only get that third goal there, they probably would have gone and won that game in the Champions League. But, it's it's happened now, and I think City will bounce back in the Premier League and they'll get an easy victory here well, on Sunday at 4:30. But yeah, we'll get on to a bit closer look on United. So let's say what I think should happen now. So I think this is the perfect game for Le Mans to start. I mean, I'm going to be saying this now. There's no need to play Altay Bayindir because he's rubbish. He's rubbish. But there's no saving him right now. I mean, he's got to play Le Mans in net. He's got to start Yoro. And he's probably gonna have to play Heaven. He's gonna have to give him a chance because Shaw's looked awful. Maguire cannot play in this. Well, he can play in this system, but he can't be the central centre half because we'll get done for pace. And the way Sunderland have been playing, they're very energetic. Lenny Yoro is our fastest centre back at the moment. So why not we play him? He's the perfect game to play him. He's at Old Trafford. The fans will be behind him, and I think Sunderland will struggle if they have Yoro in the playing. So the they're the sort of substitute, not the game. Well, I can't even speak. They're sort of the changes that I think Ruben Amorim has to make this game for defensively. And then in the midfield, I think it has to be Mainu. Surely this is against Sunderland. He's got to start. He's at home, Sunderland. You'll have the fans again behind him. He's gonna and ever since he's been brought on this season, he's looked amazing. So this is a perfect game to start him. I don't know why he's not starting. So Mainu has to start. And I think Bruno needs to be put in that number 10 position. So if I just write it down on this whiteboard here, what I think the starting 11 should be um, this weekend, I think that there's got to be change, but Ruben Amorim won't do a lot of this change that I think that I want and a lot of United fans want. I know a lot of people be like, "Yeah, he's got to change it to a 4-3-3," but I don't want that 4-3-3. I want this selection because he's going to play with his back three. So I think this is what we have to do. Obviously, we have Casemiro back this weekend, so I think that just brings a little bit more experience in there. And I think with Casemiro in that midfield, it just gives a bit more to our midfield, just a bit more experience. And I think having that kind of experience there will kind of shut down any of the kind of like, let's say, the inexperience of like Bruno in a midfield, right? So oh, I'm going with this as my 11 here. So obviously Lemon's in net, Yoro as your right sided centre back, Delit in the midfield, not in the midfield, in the centre back, then Heaven as your left sided centre back. Mainu in the midfield with Casemiro, perfect. They've got the experience of Casemiro and the youthness and that energetic player in Mainu. Ahmad as the right wing back obviously after what's happened. Dorgu left wing back, perfect. Bruno as your 10 there. So you create your three in midfield there. Bruno, Bruno, Mainu, and Casemiro. Then you got Embuemo, Cunha as your strikers. So that's what I would go as my first 11. And I think, let's say we're going for Cunha and Buemo as your two strikers. You know you're getting chances there. You know they're going to create something. Bruno in his 10 position, which is his favourite position and where he plays. Casemiro and Mainu as your sort of midfielders who can defend. Mainu can obviously get forward. Dorgu and Ahmad, they speak for themselves. They're our best wing backs at the moment. Heaven, left-sided centre back, bit of youth, better than Luke Shaw at the moment. Delit, we know how good Delit's been this season. And then Yoro, experience there, and he's our quickest centre back. And obviously Lemon's in net, which has to be done now because I think Altay Bayindir, after that mistake that he made, well, the two mistakes that he's made for United, it's just unexcusable, and it's just I don't understand why he's still playing. But what I think Ruben Amorim will do, he will probably play Bayindir like it. How do you even it's Bayern? He'll probably play Bayindir. It's obvious. He'll play Shaw. He'll play Delit. He'll probably play Yoro. He'll play Dorgu, Dalot, Bruno, Casemiro. I'm just going to put it as that. Then he'll play Cunha and Buemo and Sheshko. So Ruben Amorim will probably do something like that. Um, so Bayern, they're obviously in net because he's probably his number one in Ruben Amorim's eyes. Delit, Euro, Shaw. I think I agree with obviously Delit and Euro, but he'll probably play Shaw because that's what he normally does. Delot, he's everyone likes Delot at the moment. Every manager does, and I don't rate him anymore. I think he had that one good season and he just bottled it. He'll play Dorgu. Obviously, he's our only left wing back. Bruno and Casemiro, that's probably what it will be. Cunha, Buemo, Shesko. So I think he'll obviously stick with his formation because he doesn't want to change. But I think we play that, and Sunderland will just overload the midfield and just exploit our midfield and just basically go and punish us. And I think they could easily win it. But with it being at Old Trafford, I think United will get a 2-1 win. But it, it won't be as easy as we think. And Sunderland, as we know, and the way that they've been playing, they could easily go and win this game. And I doubt that they'll go and like I don't think we'll go batter him. I think City, Liverpool will go batter him, but like United will struggle against them. We'll really struggle. I mean, if we battered off Brentford 3-1, we'll probably lose it. We could even lose this game 4-0 at home. And I think if we do that, he's probably gone. But we've got to have faith in the manager. We can't sack him not even a year into the job. So we have to see what happens. But I I am slightly more optimistic that we'll get a result, especially with it being at Old Trafford. But it is a difficult situation, isn't it? Really, like there's no excuse for us losing this game, especially at Old Trafford. But yeah, right. We'll get on to the WSL. So obviously, the standout fixture this week is tonight at 7:30, United versus Chelsea. And I think this game will end up in a draw. I think it'll be a 2-2. But United, the form that they've been on, they could easily go and win this game. And Chelsea, I mean, obviously everyone knows how good Chelsea are in the WSL. They're dominant. They're always the dominant force in that league. But I think it'll be a 2-2 draw this game. Then you've got Arsenal versus Man City, another huge game in the title race. I think that will end up in a draw as well. I think that'll be another 2-2. Very entertaining game. Leicester versus Everton, I think draw again, 1-1. West Ham versus Villa, I think Villa win that 2-0. Tottenham versus Brighton, 2-2. And London City versus Liverpool, I think Liverpool will get back to winning ways and win that game 2-0 there. Be interesting there. I think obviously United versus Chelsea is the biggest game the for this kind of weekend. I think Chelsea, we all know that Chelsea can go up and just absolutely dominate them and win comfortably. But then I think United this year, the way that they've been playing, like against Liverpool, their game management was fantastic, and they've never won there until last weekend. So I think if United get it right with Toon and Mellard, and they do take their chances, and they need to take their chances this weekend, then I think the United could easily go and win this game. But they need to be careful defensively because we all know how well Chelsea are attacking wise. I mean, we know that United have got the best defensive record and attacking record, but Chelsea, with their strike force, Lauren James, Sam Kerr, they're all brilliant players, aren't they? Really, and they can easily go and turn up and put four past you within a matter of minutes. So it's a game that we could definitely see a lot of goals in, but I think it will be down to discipline, and that's how one of the teams will win it. But I do think it will be a 2-2 draw. Then we've got on to the F1. So obviously, it's the Singapore Grand Prix this weekend. The practice one has just finished, so in 2 hours' time, practice two will kick off start under the lights in the Yas Marinas. Beautiful circuit. So if we go from FP1, so Fernando Alonso first in FP1, then you got Leclerc, Verstappen, Hamilton, followed by Piastri and Norris, Hadjar seventh, Science eighth, Yuki Tsunoda ninth, and Esteban Ocon 10th, and the Mercedes 10th, 11th, and 14th. But I do think that it's obviously very early on. I think that Ferraris could have a brilliant weekend this weekend. I think I think a lot of people are expectations are reliant on um, the McLarens to just get back to form. I think they might struggle this weekend. Piastri might struggle mentally, obviously crashing out in Azerbaijan last weekend. But I do think that it could definitely be a McLaren win. Verstappen obviously looks strong. Everyone knows how good Verstappen is. And even the Mercs will obviously come back. I know obviously FP won their 11th and 14th, but it's FP1, and I think as soon as they get back onto like FP2, I think they'll kick on, and I could see it definitely being a very, very tight battle for that podium place and even for the victory. I don't think it will be as comfortable victory as people think that McLaren might get. So I hope it's obviously an entertaining race. My predictions are that the winner will be Leclerc. I think Leclerc will win. Then we'll go Lando Norris, then Hamilton, then Verstappen, and then Russell, followed by Piastri. Then I'd go with Carlos Sainz, then Kimi Antonelli. So we'll see what happens. But top three, I'm gonna go Leclerc, Norris, Hamilton, top three. But yeah, I mean, it, Singapore is always a good Grand Prix. There's never no entertainment. Like there's always someone crashing out. There's always a bit of feisty overtakes there, and obviously the pit stops are very, very crucial there because if you get your pit stop right, then you could jump the places. The undercut is very powerful at Singapore, so obviously we're looking forward to that there. Another voice crack, great. So yeah, that is pretty much it. And obviously we've got the England team news out for the international break coming next weekend. And it's very, very, very surprising. So if we go through it here, I'll read all the names out in it. So we got Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford, and James Trafford as keepers. Standard. Don't think you can get anyone else in there. Defenders. So you got Dan Burn, Mark Gray, Reece James, Ezri Konsa, Miles Lewis Skelly, um, Giles Kwanzaa, um, Jed Spence, and John Stones. I think very, very reasonable. You can't really go wrong with that, really. Maybe obviously Livermento's injured, that's why Lewis Skelly is coming to it. Midfielders, Elliot Anderson, the standout from the last international break, Morgan Gibbs White, Jordan Henderson back in, Ruben Loftus Cheek, Declan Rice, and Morgan Rogers. So big names missing. Forwards, Bowen, Eze, Gordon, Kane, Rashford, Saka back in, and Ollie Watkins. So with it, I don't. I think I'm really shocked in this team selection or the squad selection. So there's no Jude, and I think why is there no Jude? I know obviously a lot of people would be like Jude Bellingham's our most important player, which I do think is true. But the only reason why Jude Bellingham isn't in the squad is because he's just come back from that injury. So we know in early September we've had that shoulder injury, and he's been out for about 7 weeks or so, and he's just come back into the Real Madrid squad. Um, and there must be some kind of communication with England and Real Madrid that look, we'll keep him. We won't let him go to the uh, October international break just so that we could protect him and that he doesn't do anything more serious or harm his shoulder again. That's the only reason why I could see Jude Bellingham not in the squad because Thomas Tuchel has openly come out in his press conference saying that Jude Bellingham is arguably our most important player. So if that is the case, then there should be it should be coming back in probably the November international break. And then there's three names who I want to mention who aren't in the squad. Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, and Adam Wharton. Obviously, no Foden. He's been exceptional for Man City recently, and I don't know why he's not in the squad. I think he definitely needs to go to that World Cup because you know how good he is. Like the amount of chances and the goals he creates is magnificent for Man City, and he can do that for England. We've seen it. No Jack Grealish. So if he wants to go to that World Cup, that place is going to be really, really difficult for him because he's playing exceptionally well at Everton. He's probably their star man, him and Ndiaye. And if he's not in the squad now, I don't know how he's going to get into this World Cup squad. No Adam Warren. He was in the squad last time out, and he didn't play under Thomas Tuchel yet. And obviously, to see Elliot Anderson in there and John and Henderson, I think. I mean, Elliot Anderson, he was amazing last time, and to see Jordan Henderson, don't get me wrong, Jordan Henderson had a good month at Brentford, but Adam Wharton is very, very good, and I don't know why he's not in that squad. I think he's arguably better than Jordan Henderson at this moment. Obviously, career-wise, probably not, but Adam Wharton to be in this squad right now, he should be in there. He's a very talented player, and I don't know why he's not in there. it's very surprising to see him not in the squad because I think he offers a lot. He offers like let's say we the midfield is probably Declan Rice and Anderson, right? I think even if you were to take Anderson off, you put John and Henderson there. I think you're having a massive downgrade there. But let's say you put in um, Adam Wharton there, you've probably got a like for like swap there, and the quality is probably arguably the same, or probably even better for Adam Wharton. And I know obviously we've got Ruben Loftus Cheek in there. I don't know why he's in the squad. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing in him, and that Tuchel is. But it obviously it could work out, and I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek does play well for England. We did see that in the last international break. Obviously, we've got Gibbs White and Morgan Rogers there. You know how good they are. No Cole Palmer though, which is surprising. But I mean, obviously, he's just come back off an injury and stuff. So I think the next international break after this one in November, we'll be tend to see more of like the Bellinghams, the Fodens, the Whartons, and possibly like Cole Palmer, like I just mentioned then. And obviously Rashford in the squad, good to see. He's had quite a good month with especially with Barcelona. His stats this year quite good. 4 goals and assists in 3, which is brilliant. Bukayo Saka, obviously straight back into squad after his injury. I think everyone knows how important Bukayo Saka is. Obviously Madueke is out because he's injured. And I mean, even if Madueke weren't injured, I wouldn't be surprised if Saka wasn't in the squad or even I think this World Cup squad is going to be very, very difficult, especially if the way that the players are playing right now. I think you probably nailed on players to go to that World Cup is probably Harry Kane, um, Ollie Watkins, probably, Declan Rice, Stones, Gay, and pick on all 3 keepers, I think, because I don't think you can get any other keeper there. And yeah, I mean, it's very probably Saka as well. But then even then, if Madueke keeps his form up, you never know what will happen. So yeah, but yeah, that is it for today. We'll hopefully have a good weekend as a United fan, and hopefully the football is another entertaining weekend. But yeah, we'll catch you all in a bit.